everybody, it's Julie. Thanks for joining me here for some Bible journaling. I am using the Treasured Up collection for the month of November from Creative Retreat, and I'm here in my pocket Bible. I'm going to start off by taking the Bullseye red color and stamp a little bit of that off onto some packaging, and then pick that up with an aqua brush. An aqua brush is just it's kind of like a paintbrush that has a barrel. It's already got the water in it. Okay, so I've highlighted my verse, and now I'm going to start some stamping. Now, where I am is in the book of Luke, chapter 2, which is the primary book in the Bible, the primary chapter that talks about the birth of Jesus. I am contemplating the key verse here, which is chapter 2, verse 19, and it says, "But Mary treasured up all these things, pondering them in her heart." So on screen here, I have stamped the poinsettia in the bullseye color, the red color, and now I've stamped it off onto some sticky notes, just to post it, and then I cut that out. That's kind of my second generation. And I'm using this as a mask, and I'm going to layer up this poinsettia flower. So I've made a mask, and that allows the stamped images to work together, to interact together, and not to conflict with each other. So you just put that mask over the first image that you stamped. What you want to stamp first is what you want to be on the top, the foreground. So now by putting that mask down and then coming in and stamping over it, you can see that it looks like the second stamp is in the background. I'm going to do it again with, first I did teddy bear on those background petals, and then I came back over it with some red. That's just to give it some depth. So I used the red, the bullseye color, and then I mixed the teddy bear and the bullseye to give it some depth. I'm using my aqua brush here to fill in some of those white spaces and just to kind of go in and pick up some of that color. This ink does pick up. It is a pigment ink, and it is a permanent ink, but it does pick up right away some of the ink, so you can kind of use it like paint. Again, I'm using my aqua brush. All right, I'm going to do it one more time. I'm just making this flower, this poinsettia, really full. So I've stamped off a couple of more times here, and I actually have two. You can see there I created two masks. And I've got a few more flowers, a few more petals peeking out. This time I have that one up at the top, and it's bothering me as I'm looking at it here. It's like one petal that just, one leaf that sticks out randomly. But, you know, flowers kind of do that sometimes, don't they? They're not precise. I'm going to do this one more time, friends. So I've made another mask. So I've got two masks, and I'm going to make a third one right now. Cut that out, and this way I can make some leaves coming out and poke them out. You definitely have to mask off if you want to do these two colors, because otherwise you're going to get a nasty, messy color where the two inks blend. Okay, so now you can see those leaves are kind of in the background. So this is what happens when you mask. You create a mask just with some paper. I like to use the sticky notes because it's got that little bit of adhesive to help it stay in place. Adding a couple more spots of leaves here. Okay, see how that works? Now I'm going to pick up some of that green and fill in those white spots. I will detail this poinsettia in just a moment. But now I'm going to start stamping the words treasure and ponder. And it's going to say treasure and ponder like Mary. Now let me go back to Luke chapter 2, verse 19. But Mary treasured up all these things, pondering them in her heart. This is talking about she's given birth to baby Jesus, to the Messiah, and the shepherds have come to worship him because the angels pronounced his birth to the shepherds. And so they came and they bowed down to Jesus and worshiped him. And it says in verse 18, and all who heard it wondered at what the shepherds told them. But Mary treasured up all these things, pondering them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God, all they had heard and seen as it had been told them. On screen here, I'm adding a little bit more detailing with a white gel pen and then just a black fine tip precision pen. And here, so I lost a little bit of footage of me putting these alpha stickers on here that says and then like Mary. Then I also stamped the little star that comes in the stamp set, and I'm going to outline that lightly. I'm doing it very loosely with my pen here, and just gives kind of a natural look to it. All right, so you can see my flower. I also use some acrylic paint to give those three, the center of the poinsettia. There's a stamp there that could either be like berries, holly berries, or the center of this flower. And I use some yellow acrylic paint. I'm making a label down here with one of the Faithfilled digitals. And I'm taking the Harvest Gold ink and scraping it on the edges, which gives it a finished look, a little bit more, a little bit softer finished look. And I'm stamping my date onto that label. And I'm going to place that down at the bottom. So what's so wonderful about this passage is it talks about how the birth of Jesus, he has come, and Mary is taking this truth in her heart, this truth of Jesus's presence, the presence of the Messiah, the Son of God, Emmanuel. And we need to have that also in our heart, treasure it and ponder it. Just hold it close and hold it dear to us, that God is with us. If we hold that truth objectively in our mind, if we're thinking about the fact that he is here, then we're also treasuring that fact that he is with us. He is always with us all the time, but ultimately he came here to save us from sin. And what a beautiful truth that is. I made a label and a tab using my tab punch with some of the Faithfilled digitals, the journaling cards. I liked that print. I'm using a couple of the stickers, and also this is the washi tape from the Hives and Homes kit. I do believe it's available. I will link it if so. And I'm just placing that washi tape in a few places. I have this journaling card that I've pulled out, and I'm just going to do some prayer journaling and tuck that in right here in my Bible, the same place. And this is pretty much going to do it. I've got that bow up there, but I decided not to use it. So my page says treasure and ponder like Mary. So we should also be in awe and just wonder and mesmerized almost by the truth of God's goodness and grace. And treasure that, keep that close to us. Keep it always in our hearts. Friends, here is a couple of finished looks of my page. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section. I'll have all the products linked in the description box. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks and take care. Bye-bye.